Fujifilm recipes are a huge part of why I shoot with Fujifilm. It's a great way to experiment with new looks and just have fun with your camera. So in the 4th episode of the series, I'm going to go through 5 of my favorite recipes I've used in the last couple months. With that, let's begin. In the past, I've mainly used recipes from Fuji X Weekly. In this video, I'll be using some Fuji X Weekly recipes, as well as a couple other sources of recipes that I'll link in the description below. These creators take a lot of time to make these recipes, so make sure you reach out to them and thank them for their awesome work. Now, let's talk about some recipes. OWH Oekar. This recipe from Oven, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name right, is based off the very saturated Oekar 100 film stock. This recipe can get surprisingly close to the look of the film. With the proper white balance and exposure, any Oekar shooter will be happy with this one. It's great for landscapes and also doesn't do too bad when it comes to street photography. I really love this recipe. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's got a very unique feel. It has a very natural look, but has just enough style to stand out as different. Portrait 800. Based off the very popular Portrait 800 film stock, this recipe creates a really strong film look, and if that's what you're looking for, this is the one. The use of strong and large grain gives it a gritty feel typical of 800 ISO film. This recipe has a slight warm tone, and I find it captures daily life really well. I think you'll also really appreciate the blue tones this recipe gives to the skies. If you're looking for that film feel in an everyday recipe that you can use in almost any situation, Portrait 800 is the one to use. Fujifilm Superia Extra 400. Superia 400 is a great do-it-all recipe. If you like the Superia 800 recipe, you'll find this recipe to be similar with a slightly warmer look. It also kind of reminds me of the 400D V1 recipe I talked about in the 3rd video with less saturation. In overcast conditions, it gives off a moody vibe, and in bright sun, you'll get a nice, warm, inviting feel. If you want a recipe to use in any conditions, this is a good one for you. Monographic. Like every video in this series so far, I've got to include a black and white recipe. Monographic is great if you want a very even exposure. Monographic is the perfect black and white recipe for everyday life because it's not overwhelmingly contrasty, it's not overwhelmingly bright, it's just a very even exposure and it captures daily life perfectly. Neon Velvia. The Velvia film simulation is making its first appearance on this series with this great recipe for sunsets, sunrises, and anything with neon. The Velvia base adds a great amount of saturation but doesn't overdo it, and the white balance shift adds a subtle pink tint, helping give that cotton candy look. As I mentioned earlier, this recipe works really well with neon lights, and it was perfect for the boardwalk on my vacation in North Carolina. So if you want a punchy recipe for dawn, dusk, and neon summer nights, you should definitely plug Neon Velvia into your camera. And that was 5. Plug these into your camera, take some photos, tag me in them. I can't wait to see what you create with them. If there's any recipes you think I should check out, put them below. I'm always looking for new ones to try and add to my next episode in the series. If you haven't watched the other 3 episodes in this series, make sure to check them out. There's some other awesome recipes on there. For now, go out and shoot some photos. Thanks for watching.